Hello, and welcome back to the Cozy English Podcast. I'm Melody.
And I'm Avery. It's so great to have you with us today. If you enjoy our show, please take a moment to subscribe so you don't miss any of our future episodes. It really helps us out.
It really does. Now, Avery, I have a question for our listeners. Imagine this. You're in a new city, you're a little lost, and you see a taxi. You get in. But do you know what to say in English?
That's a great question. It can be a little stressful, right? So let me ask you, Melody, do you take taxis often?
Not very often, but definitely when I'm traveling. It's just so convenient, especially with luggage. But I remember being nervous about it at first. Do you feel confident speaking in a taxi?
I do now, but it took practice. And that's exactly what we're here for. Today, we're going to help you feel confident and prepared. We're learning English for taxi conversations.
That's right. We're going to cover everything from telling the driver where to go to asking about the price and paying at the end. We want to make it easy and, of course, cozy.
Okay, so let's start with the most important part, telling the driver your destination, where you want to go. The most common and direct phrase is take me to, followed by your destination.
For example, take me to the airport, please, or take me to the Grand Hotel. Adding please at the end makes it more polite.
Exactly. Another great option, especially if you have the address written down or on your phone, is can you take me to this address? You can then show the driver your phone or a piece of paper.
That's a really useful one. It avoids any confusion with pronunciation. Now, what about the price? You probably want to know how much the ride will cost.
Right. The official word for the price of a taxi ride is fare, F-A-R-E. So you can ask, how much is the fare?
And if fare is a new word for you, don't worry. You can just say, how much is it? Or how much will it be? Everyone will understand that.
Totally. Keeping it simple is always a good idea. Another good question to ask at the beginning is, how long will it take? This is helpful if you need to be somewhere at a specific time.
Good one. Okay, so we know how to start the ride. What about when you arrive at your destination?
When you see your stop, you can say, please stop here, or you can let me out right here.
Right, and then it's time to pay. We've already covered asking, how much is it? But what if you don't have cash?
A very important question in today's world. You can ask, do you accept credit cards? Or simply, do you take card?
Perfect. Those are the essential phrases you'll need. So, Avery, are you ready to put them into practice?
I am. Let's do some role playing to show our listeners how a real conversation might sound.
Okay, for our first role play scene, let's imagine I am the passenger and Avery, you are the taxi driver. I'm getting into the taxi for the first time.
Sounds good. I'm ready.
Hi there. Can you take me to the airport, please?
Sure thing. Hop in.
Thank you. How long will it take to get there?
At this time of day, it'll take about 20 minutes. Not much traffic.
Oh, great. And about how much will the fare be?
It's usually around $30.
Okay, sounds perfect. Thank you.
And scene. Okay, let's break that down.
Right, so you can see it was very short and simple. I started with a polite greeting, hi there, and then asked, can you take me to the airport, please?
Using can you is a slightly softer, more polite way to ask than take me to. Both are perfectly fine, but can you is a nice, friendly option.
Then I asked about the duration of the trip. How long will it take?
And I gave a simple answer, about 20 minutes. The driver will usually know the approximate travel time.
Finally, I asked about the price. I said, about how much will the fare be? Using the word about shows that I understand the price is not exact. It's an estimate.
That's a great point. The final fare can change because of traffic or the specific route, so asking about how much is very natural.
Exactly. So that's it. A simple, clear, and polite start to your taxi journey.
All right, are you ready for scene 2? This is the conversation you might have during the ride.
I'm ready. Let's continue our trip to the airport. I'll still be the passenger, you're still the driver. So, is it far from here?
We're about halfway there, maybe 10 more minutes.
Okay, is there much traffic on this route usually?
Sometimes it can be bad, but today it's clear. We're making good time.
Oh, good. Actually, I just realized, can you take the next right turn? I think there's a faster route that way. My friend told me about it.
This way is usually quicker, but I can go that way if you prefer, no problem.
Oh, okay, let's stick with your route then. You're the expert.
Okay, and scene. So a little bit of conversation during the ride.
Yeah, you don't have to talk, of course. You can just be quiet. But if you want to, you can make small talk. I started by asking, is it far from here? Which is another way of asking about the distance.
Right, and asking about traffic is very common. Melody asked, is there much traffic? A simple question to start a conversation.
Mm-hmm. Then I did something that can sometimes happen. I tried to give directions. I said, can you take the next right turn?
This can be tricky. Usually it's best to trust a driver, especially if they are using a GPS. But if you are sure about a different route, you can definitely suggest it politely.
Totally. In our role play, the driver was confident in his route, so I decided to trust him. I said, let's stick with your route then, which is a polite way to agree with the driver.
Good choice. Some other phrases you might hear or use, maybe if you're in a hurry, you could ask, can you go a little faster, please? But be careful with that one.
Yes, only if it's safe, of course. So that covers some simple chat for during the ride. Now for the final, most important part.
All right, role play scene 3, arriving and paying. We've arrived at the airport. Let's finish the trip.
Let's do it.
All right, here we are at the airport.
Great. You can just stop here, please. How much is it?
That'll be $32.
Okay, do you accept card?
Yes, I do.
Perfect. Here you go. Thank you very much for the ride.
You're welcome. Have a safe flight.
Thanks, you too.
Okay, a nice simple end to the ride. Let's talk about the phrases.
Yes, first I told the driver exactly where to stop. I said, you can just stop here, please. Then I asked the familiar question, how much is it?
Then the very practical question, do you accept card?
Right. Now, what if I had cash? Let's imagine the fare was $28 and I have a $30 bill. I could say, here's 30, keep the change.
Ah, keep the change. That's a great phrase. It means the driver can keep the extra money as a tip. It's a very common and friendly thing to say if you're happy with the service.
Exactly. And finally, we ended with a simple thank you and have a safe flight. It's always nice to end the interaction politely.
Absolutely. A little kindness goes a long way.
Okay, so we've learned the phrases and we've seen them in action. Now it's your turn to practice.
That's right. We're going to give you a situation. We'll pause for about 5 seconds and we want you to say the English phrase out loud. Are you ready?
Okay, situation 1. You get in a taxi. You want to go to the city museum. What do you say to the driver?
You could say, take me to the city museum, please. Or, can you take me to the city museum? Great job.
All right, next one. You want to know the price of the trip. What do you ask?
Did you say, how much is the fare? Or, how much will it be? Perfect.
Okay, last one for practice. You have arrived. You want the driver to stop. What do you say?
You could say, please stop here. Simple and effective. Well done.
Fantastic job, everyone. Practice is so important. The more you say these phrases, the more natural they will feel.
Wow, that was a lot of great information. Let's do a quick recap of the most important phrases from today.
Good idea. So to tell the driver your destination, you can say, take me to.
To ask about the price, you can say, how much is it?
And when you arrive, you can say, please stop here.
With just those 3 phrases, you can successfully take a taxi in English. We hope this episode helps you feel much more confident.
We would love to hear from you. Write in the comment section on our website or on social media. If you could take a taxi anywhere in the world right now, where would you go?
Ooh, I love that question. I think I'd take a taxi through the streets of Rome at night. And you?
I'd take a taxi to a beautiful, quiet beach in Thailand. That sounds pretty cozy to me.
That was a very thorough guide to Taxi English Melody. It feels like just one piece of a bigger travel puzzle, though.